Hey everybody, Sammy here, SFI Sports Cards, back with another video. Today is August 19th. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to the Saturday morning starting lineup. So today's lineup, we've got 2 Hall of Famers, an MVP, 2 Rookie of the Years, 41 times they made the All-Star team, 10 Silver Sluggers. Our pitcher today has 2 ERA titles. We have 4 World Series winners, 17 Gold Glove awards given out, a batting title, a playoff MVP, and a 2-time All-Star Game MVP. So, let's not wait around. Let's get started. Batting leadoff from Montgomery, Alabama. Drafted in 1974 in the first round, 18th overall, out of Summit High School in New Jersey, playing center field. This card is from the 1990 Fleer set, I should say. And that is the very speedy Willie Wilson. 1985 World Champion, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger. He is a batting champion. He hit .332 in 1982 to pace the league. Wilson was one of the fastest players in the 1980s, and that is saying a lot. He stole 668 bases. That's 12th all time. And you can see here, he stole 83 bases in 1979, followed that up with 79 steals in 1980. And 1980 was a big year for him. He was 4th in MVP voting. He led the league in runs scored, hits, and triples. And he would lead the league in triples 5 times. With totals of 15, 15, 21, 15, and 11. Also that season, he tied the record for most hits by a switch hitter, 230. And he had 184 singles, an American League record. So, we've had some pretty good leadoff hitters on this series. Willie Wilson belongs in that group. A force on the bases, a force in the outfield with his speed. So, Willie Wilson leading off for the team. Next, batting second from Caracas, Venezuela. Signed in 1984. He's playing shortstop for us today. From the 1989 Score Traded set. We have Omar Vizquel, and here is his rookie card. One of his rookie cards, the other one being Topps Traded. Now, out of all the shortstops I've seen play their entire career, Vizquel was the best defensive shortstop I've ever seen. He followed other Venezuelan shortstops, starting with Chico Carrasquel, Luis Aparicio, Dave Concepcion, Ozzie Guillen in that group. Most of them wore number 13. I think Carrasquel wore 17. He won 11 Gold Gloves, and he grew up playing on the fields in Caracas using milk cartons for gloves. That's all they had. He has 2,877 career hits, 1,445 runs scored, and over 400 steals. He led the American League in fielding 4 times, the National League twice. He is the all-time career leader in that category with a .985 fielding percentage. I remember hearing that in warm-ups before games, he would kick ground balls into his glove on a regular basis. And he felt just as comfortable catching fly balls with his back to home plate as he did, facing in the correct direction. Might have some more Hall of Fame consideration, but I think some of the off-field issues that he's had have delayed those talks. But one of the great shortstops of the 90s and 2000s, Omar Vizquel. This is a great rookie card. Batting third, from La Guerra, Venezuela, another Venezuelan, signed in 2014. He is playing right field on this team. This card is from the 2017 Bowman Prospect set. This is the yellow variation of Ronald Acuna Jr. One of the most dynamic players in baseball right now. He came into the league making an instant impact, winning the National League Rookie of the Year in 2018. He is currently leading the league in runs scored, stolen bases, on-base percentage, and is hitting .334. And he's on pace to hit over 30 home runs. I think he's sitting at 27 at the moment. He is fast. He's got power. He has a rocket for an arm. Aggressive on the base paths. And he can play all outfield spots. I have him in right field, which I think is his current position on the Braves. I could have easily put him in the leadoff spot, but with a burner like Willie Wilson there, I have him hitting third today, which I'm sure he is capable of doing. He actually might be hitting third in seasons to come. We'll see if they keep him in that leadoff spot or not. Seems to be working well for the Braves at the moment. Next, hitting cleanup. From St. Louis, Missouri. Drafted in 2001 in the 5th round out of Missouri State University, playing first base from the 2003 Topps Total set. We have Ryan Howard. 2008 World Champion, former Rookie of the Year in 2005, followed that up with an MVP award in 2006, where he led the league in home runs with 58 RBIs, 149, and total bases, 338. He finished in the top 5 in MVP voting 4 years in a row, while topping the 40 home run mark in each year, and led the league in RBIs 3 of those years, each time driving in over 140 runs. He really did have a window of being probably the best slugger in baseball at the time. He is the fastest player to 100 home runs, 200 home runs, and 250 home runs. And he holds the dubious record for most golden sombreros, striking out 4 times in a game. He did it 27 times. I believe he led the National League in strikeouts twice. At, I think, 190 one year and 199 in another year. So he was definitely a free swinging slugger, but he did have a decent average. But we have Ryan Howard hitting 4th. Now hitting 5th from Agua Dulce, Panama. Signed in 1994. He is playing left field. This is from the 2003 Upper Deck set. We have El Caballo, Carlos Lee. Now, he played in, 2000s? And I think a lot of players get lost in that era as being great players. Carlos Lee is one of them. 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger. He is 7th all-time with 17 Grand Slams. He's got over 350 home runs, 1,300 RBIs, over 1,000 runs scored, and he actually stole over 125 bases, and he was a big man. 6'2", 235 during the release of this card, but I think he got up to almost like 270 pounds. He was a big guy. He hit over 20 home runs 11 years in a row, 30 home runs in 5 consecutive seasons. He drove in 100 RBIs 6 times. So he was a real force in the middle of the lineup for teams like Chicago, Milwaukee, Houston. He also hit over 305 times with a career batting average of .285. So he is a definite force in this lineup and very overlooked, in my opinion. Carlos Lee, El Caballo. Hitting 6th from Culver City, California. Drafted in 1972 in the 3rd round out of Sunny Hills High School. That sounds like a terrific place to go to school. He is at catcher. This is from the 1985 Topps Tiffany set. We've got Hall of Famer Gary the Kid Carter. Now, I've done, I don't know how many lineups. I don't recall. Maybe I had a Carter on a team. But as far as making these, I am going to say that we can have repeat players on teams. As long as the card's not the same, I am fine with including the same player in different lineups. Obviously, probably not back-to-back, but I'll try to spread them out. As my memory sometimes isn't clear on who I've had in the lineup previously. So we have Carter. Now, when I think of Carter, I think field general. Terrific on defense, 3 Gold Gloves, great in the clutch. He just made teams better. Here's the beautiful back of this Tiffany card. Now, the Expos moved him from the outfield to catcher, then they started winning. The Mets traded for him in 1985, then they started winning. 11-time All-Star, 1986 World Champion, 5 Silver Sluggers, 4 top 10 finishes in MVP voting. He led the league in games caught 6 times, so he's a very durable catcher. Led the league in putouts 8 times, assists 5 times, double plays 5 times, caught stealing percentage 3 times, fielding percentage twice. You know, when we look at the catcher position all time, he should be right up there. Is a guy that you want on your team. Some people overlook him a bit, but not me. He was a great player. Rest in peace to the kid, Gary Carter. Hitting 7th from Sissonville, West Virginia. signed in 1967 out of Elgin High School in Marion, Ohio. He's playing third base today for our team. This is from the 1983 Fleer set. We have Toby Harrah, very overlooked player. He also played plenty of games at shortstop and second base. Multi-talented athlete. He could hit home runs. 5 times he hit over 20. He could steal bases. Stole over 24 times. He played for a lot of bad teams. The Rangers in the 1970s and Cleveland in the 1980s. But there is some neat info on Harrah. He took the last at bat for the Washington Senators, which we now know as the Texas Rangers. He was also the last active player from that franchise. He once played a doubleheader at shortstop and never fielded a ball. That's pretty amazing. He was also part of a duo that hit back-to-back inside the park home runs with Bump Wills, who is Maury Wills' son. They were the only second teammates to do that, first in the American League. So we got Harrah hitting 7th. No slouch at the plate. Like I said, very overlooked player during his time. Well, maybe not during his time, but as years went on afterwards. Don't hear too much about Toby Harrah, but he was a great player. Now hitting 8th from Yabucoa, Puerto Rico, signed in 1964. He's playing second base. This is from the 1978 top set. We have Felix Millan. I love this card. We have a little cameo here from Dave Parker. Very well centered. Corners are great. Back looks very good. But Millan, an all-star, a Gold Glover. Very good player with both the Braves and the Mets. One of the hardest men to strike out in his era. He never struck out more than 35 times in season. And in 1974, in 585 plate appearances, he only went down 14 times. He was known for choking up on the bat when hitting. I am going to pause here and give you a photo to check out real quick. There you go. Now, as you can see, that's up there. Almost halfway up the bat. But that's how he hit. Now, Millan, he rarely hit home runs. Only 22 in his career, but putting the ball in play and great defense was his game. Millan's career ended abruptly on August 12, 1977, against the Pirates. Pirate catcher Ed Ott slid hard into second base trying to break up a double play. Millan took exception, hitting Ott in the jaw with ball in hand. And Ott, he was a former wrestler, and he picked up Millan, slammed him into the turf at Three Rivers Stadium, injuring his shoulder and forced him into retirement. And I do have some still shots of that incident, so we'll take a look. Photo is a little bit grainy. This came out of a newspaper, I believe. But there you can see the sequence of events here. So a very unfortunate incident for Mian, and probably Ott as well. He was 33 years old when that happened, and he will turn 80 on Monday. So a little bit early, but happy birthday to Felix Mian. But he is hitting 8th in our lineup and hitting 9th from Refugio, Texas. Drafted in 1965 in the 12th round out of Elvin High School. Starting pitcher. This card's actually from the 2020 Stadium Club set. We have the Ryan Express, Nolan Ryan. We all know Ryan, you know, what he did on the field. I really like this card. I like a lot of his cards from his Astros tenure. He pitched 9 years in Houston and won both of his ERA titles while playing there. One of the biggest names at the position in our hobby, no doubt. Capable of throwing a no-hitter every time he took the mound, which he did 7 times. In his first game in 1966, he struck out Eddie Matthews and gave up a home run to Joe Torre. In his final game in 1993, he did not record an out. He did not register any innings pitched. He gave up 5 earned runs, including a grand slam to Dan Howitt of the Mariners. That scored Rich Amaral, Ken Griffey Jr., and Jay Buhner. I believe after this he just walked off the mound. And he took himself out of the game because he heard a ligament pop in his right elbow. So he was done after that outing. But a force on the mound which would, intimidate any team that he pitched against. But another fun team. This lineup could be constructed a lot of different ways, but this was my take on it. What would you do different? Let me know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel and would be much appreciated. Let's see, next. I think I'm going to go in a different direction for the next video. Going to cover a sport that I've been getting back into and have been enjoying more and more as I spend time with it. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, another video in the books. Hope everyone is enjoying the weekend. We will talk soon, and be safe out there. Take it easy.